Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the Archwing, the Amesha. Now the Amesha is actually the third out of 4 Archwings we're going to be doing. The last one will be tomorrow, the Electron. There are technically 5 Archwings, it's just that one of them is a non-prime and a prime, so there's no reason to have 2 separate videos for that one. Okay, we have the top commenter of the last video, Anarchist3350, the first commenter of the last video, Silver44, and our recent supporters of Nice Bear, Colonel Soro 6, and Alfofo. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, we're doing the Amesha today. Let's go ahead and go down to the arsenal here. Now, if you're like me, you probably just built out one of your Archwings, and you kind of forgot about the rest. Maybe you leveled them up to get mastery, but you probably only have one of your Archwings actually built out. And for me, that was the Itzel. I wanted to go fast because I wanted to do bounties really quick in open worlds, and that's why I picked the Itzel, because it's the quickest one. And I kind of slept on all of the other Archwings until I've been doing these Archwing videos, and I've been doing more of a deep dive into them. And when I was doing a deep dive into the Amesha this morning, I kind of found that I was really sleeping on this Archwing. It's a really, really good one. So let's go into the upgrade screen here. And before we go over the mods, I want to go over the abilities. And the one is a very interesting one. It's Watchful Swarm. So you're going to summon drones that block instances of damage, and this can be cast on allies and some defense targets. So this just gives you a bunch of stacks. It doesn't have a duration. The only time you have to recast it is if those stacks fall off. So you just get a bunch of stacks, and they're going to just completely negate an instance of damage. Now, if that sounds familiar, it's because it pretty much works the exact same way as Revenant's Mesmer Shield. And if you didn't know, Revenant's Mesmer Shield is the biggest, easiest, dumbest ability to do level cap with. You could probably have your blind amputee grandmother take over your computer and do level cap content with Revenant as long as she's using Mesmer Shield. And Amesha, this works the exact same way. So I don't know what you would want to do level cap with an Archwing with, but if you were to do it, the Amesha could technically do level cap because of Watchful Swarm. All right, we'll go over the 2 next, which is Benevolent Decoy. You're going to create an energy bubble. Bubble has a larger outer bubble and a smaller inner bubble. Small bubble blocks all projectiles, even friendly. Damage dealt to the smaller bubble by enemies will pulse healing pulses based on the damage dealt, and the larger bubble will redirect projectiles into the smaller bubble. So this is just a good way to get some healing off for you and your allies. Something also interesting with Benevolent Decoy, and I don't know why they did it this way, is if you triple cast this, you can get to your max duration. So if you look here, it says bubble duration is 32 seconds. But if you double cast it, it'll go to like 64. And if you triple cast it, it'll go to like whatever the max is. So I guess it would technically be like, what, 96 probably? We'll see what we go in game if there's any kind of diminishing returns, but I think it should be 96. So when I cast it too, I usually just triple cast it. I don't know why they decided to do it that way, but that's how they decided to do it. Okay, Warding Grace. You're going to create an aura that gives immunity to status effects to you and allies, and it slows enemies within the aura range. And this is also a channeled ability, so it's going to be sucking energy as it's working. The 4, Vengeful Rush. This is going to convert damage taken into energy and gives you and your allies plus 10% ability range, strength, and duration as long as they're within that range there. Now that 10% buff is not changeable. It's just always going to be 10%. So it's nice. It's a little bit extra, but it's not a, huge thing. Okay, so if you were paying attention, there are a few, these are all really good abilities, but there's a few that don't necessarily play well together, and it's the 1 and the 4. So the 1 completely negates damage, and the 4 converts damage taken into energy. So these don't really play super well together. And because of that, like, there are a few different ways you can play the Amesha. You can play the Amesha by using 2, 3, and 4, and maybe just using the 1 as an oh shit button, which is how I like to play it. I just play using the 2, 3, 4, and if I ever take some really, really heavy damage, I press the 1 to completely negate that damage. Or you can play it using the 1 and the 3. And it's because you wouldn't really need the healing pulses of Benevolent Decoy if you're just completely immune to damage, unless you want to help your team out. And you wouldn't be taking damage to convert it to energy, so there would be no real reason to press Vengeful Rush. So again, there's a few different ways to play the Amesha here. Me personally, I'm going to be playing using the 2, 3, 4, and the 1 is just my oh shit button. Okay, let's go over the mods now. We have enhanced durability for plus 100% health. And we have argon plating for plus 100% armor. So we're going to be a health and armor type Amesha because we want to be taking damage. That way we can restore energy with the 4. Now the Amesha has an okay armor compared to the other Arcwings. And by that, I mean it's still horrible. But with argon plating, we get to almost 400 armor, which is 56.5% damage reduction. Again, you always have the ability to just pressure 1 and completely negate damage. So that's fine too. Energy Amplifier is plus 60% ability range. Primorphic Transformer is plus 55% ability strength. System Reroute is plus 55% ability efficiency. Auxiliary Power is plus 100% energy max. So a bigger pool of energy. Efficient Transferal is plus 30% ability duration. I feel like this is probably the weakest mod on this list here. So if you wanted to do some experimentation, or maybe you wanted to kind of, change the build up or whatnot, you could mess around with removing Efficient Transferal and put something else here. Maybe you wanted to have more shield recharge for some reason. You could always put on like Superior Defenses over here too. That's okay. Just because you're going to have a lot of energy as Amesha because you're going to be restoring energy with the 4. And it's not that big of a deal if your duration falls off of like your 4 or your 2 to just recast it because you're going to be pretty much maxed out on energy all the time anyway. So that's why I think this is the weakest slot here. And then finally we have Hyperion Thrusters for just more flight speed. And that's how you build out the Amesha there. Now I want to show this off in Steel Path gameplay. I'm going to be doing this on Steel Path Salacia, which is the mobile defense. Remember, some defense targets are going to be able to actually have the 1 cast on them. I believe mobile defense is one of those mission types where you can actually use this. Yeah, so if you just wanted a Arcwing that was not necessarily tanky, I guess just like completely immune to damage, the Amesha would pretty much be it. You could just technically just press the 1 and just like run through a mission completely invincible. So I have my 3 going, which is the channeled ability that will suck energy, but it's going to slow everything around me. It also gives status immunity. So you're going to notice all these enemies are slowed, which also helps your survivability. I'm going to keep my 4 on all the time to make sure I get some energy back anytime I take a little bit of damage. And when I see like a defense target like this, I'm going to go up to it and I'm just going to triple cast the 3. There we go. Oh, it's at 104 seconds. So triple cast a 3, that way it stacks the duration. I don't know why they chose to do that instead of just letting you be at your max duration with 1 cast, but... And anytime there's kind of like an oh shit moment where maybe you're just taking too much damage, you could just press the 1, and that'll put on Watchful, what is it called? Watchful Swarm, which is basically like Mesmer Shield. Oh, and you can cast it on the thing too here. So if I go up to this target and I press 1, it's got Mesmer Shield on it now, or Watchful Swarm. So a very tanky frame. Also a very good frame at supporting your allies. Keep in mind all the range values that you see on your build is based on the space mode of the Arcwing, not the actual like on planet mode. So when you do like a planetary mission, you'll have a bit, well, quite a bit lower ranges. Am I going the right direction there? I am not going. Okay. I always get lost in these Arcwing missions. Yeah, I've always used the Itzel, so I've kind of slept on a lot of these Arcwings here. There are some that are lackluster. I feel like the Elytron tomorrow is going to be one that's like that, because I think I've done a deep dive like a long time ago on the Elytron, and I think it was pretty dookie, but I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow if I do a deep dive on it. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's really good. But from what I remember, the Elytron was not a good one. Remember, your 2, when you go to triple cast it, it's that ability that puts those bubbles. And so, like, I won't be able to actually hit this guy because it's hitting the bubble in front of me. It's really hard to see. I wish it was a little bit more visible, the bubble. I guess it kind of is, but I don't know. I wish it was a bit more visible.
Got what we need. Find the next satellite.
One more satellite to defend. But I think you guys get the general gist of the Amesha here. It's a support Arcwing, but also a super tanky one. Well, tanky might not be the best word for it. It just straight up negates damage. I mean, technically, though, throughout this entire thing, we haven't been negating damage. We haven't really used the one. I cast the one sometimes on the actual target, like that, but I haven't actually been using it on myself, just because I want to actually take damage to get energy back. This Arcwing also weirdly doesn't have any augments for it like the others. So there's no augments to consider about putting on your build. Which is fair. I think it has really powerful abilities already. I mean, I don't think they really need augments. And that should be it. I think between the 2 and me putting the 1 on the defense targets, I don't think any of the defense targets even took any damage. Because remember, the inner, smaller bubble of the 2, it will just completely block projectiles. So if you like go right up to the mobile defense target and just spam cast your 2 to get 3 duration stacks on it, it'll have the little bubble basically right on top of it.
So you conquer yourself.
So really good Arcwing, the Amesha. Out of the 3 I've done so far, I still really like the Itzel for the speed, and I really like the Amesha for the just tanky support potential. The Odonata is still quite good too, but I think I do like the Amesha and the Itzel the best so far. The Elytron, from what I remember, was a bit lackluster, but we'll see tomorrow. When we do our deep dive tomorrow, we'll see a bit more on the Elytron. So if you guys liked the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing or tell me what I can do to earn your sub, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Okay, bye.